Moonless, again, you're completely backtracking to what you told me. You said that even if Godzilla was in Scar King's condition, Shimu couldn't reach him. So then I called you out on you conceding to the fact that he would be in Scar King's condition and Shimu could shatter him.
Okay.
And you're only
whoa.
And you're only this is where you're bulldozing.
Okay, I already mentioned that you're just strawmanning me at this point.
This is where you're bulldozing.
I mentioned that
you're not.
I'm not
the moderator, dude. You need a moderator.
I never affirmed that within my own hypothesis.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish speaking. Is that okay with you, Moonless? Thank you for your silence. I will now continue. Basically, you were telling me how the only reason Godzilla couldn't undergo the same condition Scar King could is because Shimu couldn't reach him due to the zero gravity effect. That is not a straw man. That is you saying it's a hypothesis. It's you attacking my hypothesis. And that the conclusion to the whatever hypothesis that I had would be wrong since Shimu couldn't reach him due to the anti-gravity effect. Now, once in that little attack point, did you ever regard the fact that Godzilla would be in the same critical condition as Scar King? So I was taking it as a concession. And now you're completely backtracking, saying you never said those words and that you never said anything of the sort. You never attacked him like Moonless. You never once attacked it throughout this entire VC. Not one person, even Frieza, who is taking the same stance as you, can agree that you attacked it. I will go ahead and let you speak.
Can I get my mod back, by the way? Your mic.
All right, I'll mention you again, right? Because you're fucking illiterate, right? Show me.
Right, so you're gonna go back to
the baby terms.
Point, yes,
your mic is muffled or whatever the fuck is called. I'm sorry.
So I'll explain again. Right? When you mention that point, I said that whenever we were following your specific contextualized hypothesis, even if we do affirm, which I never said that we are, I said under a certain condition that we are doing or appealing to this condition. If Godzilla does undergo the... Am I?
Yeah, you're like muffled and you cut out. Your mic's all like, it's not buggy, but like start from just start.
All right, I'll just like kind of
clearly.
I said even if we do agree to the Chomei's hypothesis and say that Godzilla would undergo the freeze effect or the total freeze effect, not that he is undergoing it, but under this contextualized specification that he does go through it, if Shimu would still not have accessibility to Godzilla, which means that because he doesn't have accessibility to Godzilla, the following conclusion that Chomei is trying to reach wouldn't be validated either way, right? And two, right, I already established that Godzilla would just break out of the freeze effect before Shimu could say or do anything else.
Okay, so since you're
it
done
wouldn't reach
with P2, I'm gonna go ahead and
wait. I'm not done.
Okay, what else do you have to add? What else do you have to add?
I also am adding on the fact that the freeze effect wouldn't, or him retrieving his temperature wouldn't be him.
You already mentioned that.
Or establishing a critical condition in which his internal organs are frozen to the fact that Shimu could still shatter them.
You mentioned that in your PC, but this is just redundant nigger babble. You already said this. Like, you already said this in your P2. You said that Godzilla wouldn't be...
You never contended. You were just saying that I was backtracking this point.
Yes, I did contend it. So, wait. So, I'm gonna lay this out. I didn't consent it, by the way. I just want to make that clear. I don't know why I said that. But let me lay this out. You never mentioned this point. Frieza does. And then you mentioned the fact that the hypothesis that I created, you again right now you're telling me that even if we do affirm it, so you never did attack it, you're just hypothesizing if we do affirm it, which again is not an attack. You're telling me that he wouldn't reach Godzilla, therefore Godzilla wouldn't shatter like Scar King. So then you backtrack and say you said what Frieza said. Nobody here in this VC can confirm that you said that. and everybody in this BC can confirm that Frieza did, even Frieza himself. So what you're not going to do is claim that point for yourself. Right now, you simply restated it and then made it your own. I'm going to leave it alone, and I'm going to like give that to you. I'm going to grant that to you because I don't want to make this longer than it needs to be. But you are. So then I ask you, we're going to disregard this hypothesis because you never even attacked like the point. I'm saying he would be in the same critical condition as Scar King. So let's discard the point because you never attacked it. And then you just told everybody in VC that even if we did affirm it, therefore you never attacked it.
Whoa,
You're just
whoa,
saying
whoa. I
if we
already
did
told you
affirm
to
it.
justify why he would be in the same condition because Godzilla already
That is
breaks out
in
of the freeze
V2,
effect. You never
correct?
justified
Correct.
that. You
That is in
only went on
V2.
the
That is
rant
Frieza's
that
point.
I was. Wait, you only ran about the point that I never brought it up. You never actually contended the point or gave a line of reasoning as to why that wouldn't be the
Because it
case.
wasn't your point in the first place. So I'm saying let's discard this little hypothesis and then let's go to Frieza's point,
It
which you
was
took.
my point, nigga.
It was never your point. It was never your point. This is Frieza's point, and then you made it your own, and then I said, okay, let's discard the hypothesis, correct? And you didn't want to discard it. So now we're
I
here.
was never
Now you're
seeing this
saying
point. I already mentioned it
now you're
beforehand
asked
because the
wait, whoa,
entire
whoa, whoa,
debate
whoa, whoa,
was
whoa, whoa, whoa,
about
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Godzilla versus Simu
I'm speaking.
regarding their atomic breath.
I'm speaking.
What
So
nigga
it is nigger babble because you're asking to go to Frieza's point. That's what I asked for in the first place. So let's discard this so we won't have a bunch of redundant branches of like senseless debating, and let's get to this specific point. So we actually know how to track. But you've never like actually tracked in the debate. So you've never had this question asked to you. So I'm gonna ask it to you. Let's discard the hypothesis since it holds no relevancy. And the point that you're asking to move on to, that's what I asked since the beginning. But you didn't understand that.
Wait, why do you think it holds no relevancy?
Because you're asking me, let's go to the Frieza point. Let's go to the fact that he wouldn't be in the same condition as Scar King. He would break out. That is what Frieza said. You made it your own. So I said, let's discard the hypothesis because you're saying,
No, because
oh,
our
what if we
entire
affirm it? Oh, what if we affirm
the
it?
entire basis for our debate is whether our Godzilla's strongest attack and which effect took longer and which or who endured it more.
That is not the
Pretty much
basis of
Godzilla's
this debate.
attack being endured versus Teemu's attack being endured. That's the entire hypothesis of the debate, right? So for
That
me
is the
to
point that we're
affirm
on. That's
something
not the basis of
that
the debate.
Frieza said later on is irrelevant because the entire topic is in correlance to the specific topic that we're already talking about that you're already trying to disregard, which is retarded.
Yes, because you're trying to discard this. I mean, no, I'm trying to.
It's retarded.
Since it's just a senseless branch of redundant nigger babble that we're not even tracking on. I'm telling you, let's discard it so we could go to the main point. But you're refusing to because you know you lost it.
No, because I'm affirming that I didn't lose it, and because it still holds relevancy to the topic
What
later
relevancy
on.
does it hold?
Because that's the entire structure of the debate that we're having.
That's not the structure of this debate.
Yeah, no.
Okay, what is the structure of the debate?
Godzilla versus Shimu.
Okay, and you're already the first premise that you already affirmed was that Shimu or Godzilla or Shimu endured Godzilla's strongest attack, and I said that so did Godzilla. So that's already the entire hypothesis of the discussion or the first premise that we're
That is
initiating
not.
with.
That is not. That's the first point, and I said that earlier. But you're making it the entire
Okay, that's
structure of the debate.
exactly what I said.
No,
That's
you didn't.
exactly what I
You
said.
said it was the entire structure of the debate.
The
But
first
it's
premise or the first
I
proposition
said,
that we're
yeah, and
bringing
I said
up,
that
right?
earlier.
That
I
is
said
what I
that
said.
earlier, by the way. Okay, so we're just being petty
Okay,
for
I
no
said
reason,
that
right?
before
So
you, before
let's
you
move
said
on
that.
from this since we both
But
agree.
anyway, we can move on.
Okay, yeah. Let's go ahead. Okay, so I'm asking you. So the hypothesis, this little hypothesis, right? The hypothesis that you're bringing up, even if we do affirm it, that Shimu wouldn't be able to reach Godzilla like Scar King and shatter him into bits and pieces. What relevancy does that hold?
Because Godzilla wouldn't undergo the same effect as what's it called, Scar King, which would
That
mean
is
that
the
Shima wouldn't
P2.
have the same type
Wait,
of
that is
or
the
effect.
P2. That is Frieza's point. I'm gonna refer to it as Frieza's
Okay.
point. So we have a short name for it. That
Okay,
is
so
Frieza's point.
wait.
So
If you were
what
doubting the
relevancy
point
does this
itself, then bringing
hypothesis
up the
have?
idea that it creates a point is completely irrelevant, nigga.
Wait. So okay, I'm mentioning the fact that Godzilla being frozen right here I mentioned the fact that Godzilla being frozen here, Shimu would freeze him and then shatter him. I'm making it my point that he would undergo the same effect as Scar King. You're making this, right? Some hypothetical view. Maybe let's affirm it, right? You're saying let's affirm it. Well, in this specific scene, I'm not talking about the specific scene. I'm talking about the effects that Godzilla's undergoing. Never once am I mentioning in this specific scene what would Shimo do after. That's what you did. That is what you did. So I'm saying let's discard it because what relevancy does that hold? You keep bringing up the P2. I'm trying to get to the P2. You keep bringing it up with the P2. That's the relevant point. We both agree on that. And you keep bringing up this hypothesis if it holds any relevance.
Wait. I'm
It
bringing
obviously
it up
doesn't.
because you're already mentioning that the conclusion, or I'm asking you what would be the conclusion of the first preposition, which would lead to the second preposition, which you never gave. Why I'm already giving myself this
Let's say,
self-based claim.
are you talking about the first question you asked me? What would be the second consequence?
No,
And then I
nigga,
told you what the
I
second.
asked you what would be the conclusion in this scene that we're talking about where Shimo
You
freezes
never asked that.
Godzilla.
You never once
I
asked
did.
that. You never
I
once
brought
asked
up
that.
the entire
You
point of the
never once
first
asked that.
consequence in relation to the second consequence. You can already vouch. You can
Yeah,
vouch for
yeah,
HTM. I
and I
already
vouched for
mentioned the
that, and
first
I vouched
scene.
for that, and I told it. I literally told everybody in VC right now. Are you referring to the first and the second consequence? And you said no. So are you just gonna backtrack again and tell me that
When
you're
did I
saying
say
yes?
no? Wait. When did I say no? Under
I'm
which
sorry.
situation
I
did I
said
say no? I'm not
I
in
said
reference
you're
to that.
talking. I said, are you talking about when you asked me about the first and the second consequence? You told me no, and you started senselessly nigger babbling. If you told me yes, you wouldn't have
Okay,
been
in which
ranting about this
situation you're
entire
not
thing.
establishing under which situation because it still couldn't be in relevance to that because that could be an
Yeah,
entirely different
there's
point
no
which is not in
relevancy
relation
to
to
it. You're
that
the one that's attempting to
consequence,
bring
nigga. So
relevancy
I'm
to it.
asking you
Retard,
under
what the
which
fuck?
situation did I or did you ask me that or when did I say
You never asked for the
that's what I'm asking you.
conclusion.
What did I
You
say
never asked for
before
the
that?
conclusion. You never once asked for the conclusion. And then you're attempting to
Okay,
say
so
on
what do you
straw
think
man,
what do you
but
think the
nobody
wait.
Frieza, both wait. So you're not gonna see him, bro. So Frieza and both HTM, Frieza and HTM, maybe Reverso if he was here. I'm not too sure how long he's been here for, but both of them can affirm that you never asked for the conclusion. You asked for both consequences, and then I told you what the second consequence would be. It would be the freezing effect,
Well,
and
whoa.
you
Okay,
never asked for the you never asked for the conclusion.
Yeah,
This is where you
yeah.
shut up. This is where you shut up. HTM. Did I not say the where would the first initiative or where would the first initiative be in conclusion to the second?
You mean
When
my
we were talking
initiative?
about like the initial violence in the beginning.
Wait, repeat everything real quick. God.
Okay, I said, was I not talking about the first initiative being in correlance to the second initiative in the beginning of the debate?
No, I don't. I didn't hear it, but maybe that's what you were meaning to convey. But I don't know if you expressed it well. So
Oh, in the
I was
beginning where I
flowing better what
said
Chomei
that.
was saying there. Your
Huh?
mic's your mic is like muffled and cut out again. I don't know what. Repeat that.
Okay, I said we are not talking about the initiative as to how the first initiative would be according to the second one. When we were starting the debate, when I was talking about okay, the freeze effect would take over Godzilla, that would be the first initiative, and what Shimu does later on would be the second, in which Shimu, not Shimu, Chomei was like miselaborating the entire point 6 times before I had to explain him so that he got it right.
Holy retard.
I'm not following what you're saying,
Sorry,
bro.
nigga, you're just
I don't know. Am
okay,
I am I dumb? I'm not sure. I don't think I'm understanding. What does anybody else understand what he's saying?
No.
Wait, Chomei was.
Frieza, are you
Okay,
understanding what
Frieza.
Moonless is saying?
Yeah, are you understanding what Moonless is saying? That's the first question, and then I'm gonna ask you the second one after.
I stopped track.
Okay, well you're not
Okay.
tracking. Does
So
anybody else
at this
understand what free? Hold on. Does anybody else understand what Moonless is saying?
Wait, what's the? How did this even start? Matter of fact, fuck.
Moonless is a retard.
What's the topic?
that's ironic as
It's
shit, nigga.
Shimu. Okay, the topic is Shimu versus Ghidorah, and then we into the sub point of Shimu versus Godzilla, and then I bring up the scene. Oh, I say that Shimu's strongest. I mean, Godzilla's strongest attack being the Spiral Ray. Has zero effect on the off guard of Shimu. Like she shrugs it off. He turns it into a tackle. It's like a continuous assault. And then he says, "Well, what's it called? Godzilla shrugs off Shimu's strongest attack or endures it, something like that. So I'm gonna let Moonless confirm that that's his point before he starts screaming about a straw man again.
W rhetoric.
I was
Is
changing
that
my clothes.
is that
Bro.
what you is that what you said?
What would you say? Or what did you say?
That Godzilla endured. I mean, no, that Godzilla endured Shima's strongest attack.
Yeah.
Okay, so we at that point, and then I disagree with him because obviously he didn't. Like, he got incapacitated. He's not moving. He has like zero effect on Shimu. He has zero like threat on Shimu until a third party source comes in and then smacks Shimu, and then he needs help to break out. So then he starts claiming, I'm just gonna say this since this happened prior, I guess. He starts claiming that he made a point that Frieza did, because Frieza points out the fact that, oh, what shouldn't Godzilla, actually I think he said this in chat, did he? Yeah, he said this in VC, then he said in chat, can I add a reason why Godzilla wouldn't be frozen by Shimu? And then he says in VC, which Frieza could affirm, Frieza says it out loud in VC, shouldn't Godzilla just break out of Shimu's like cross effect? And then Moonless starts claiming that he said that, but he didn't. And then he starts attacking the part where, okay, let's affirm that Shimu would like freeze Godzilla like Scar King, because that's what I said. Like he would just be completely frozen like Scar King would, and then he'd get shattered into like a bajillion pieces. He says to attack it. He does,
Adrian, can you give a better summary, bro? This motherfucker's like
okay,
going back.
basically, he doesn't attack
Oh,
my
well, I'll
actual.
find the show. That is no,
Whoa.
because I have the same memory.
Wait,
Well,
wait, wait.
Moonless, what do you want to say?
I said that if we are following that Mothra doesn't act as a third party, what would be Shima's second consequence to its first consequence, which would
Oh
be
my god.
freezing Godzilla in that situation? Did I not say that, Chomei?
No, in fact, you did not. You never mentioned the
Okay,
scene. Wait. I'm telling you, since you asked me the question, you never mentioned the scene once. You say, "What is the Shimu's second consequence of a frost beam?" I tell you, you say this out loud for me. Wait. I know it's hard. So you're gonna need to wait. Right. So
Rhetorical.
you tell me, give me the first and the second consequence. You tell me the second consequence is Shimu's frost beam. Okay, and then I say, okay, what is the first consequence?
I'll elaborate. Okay,
Wait.
hey retard, I'll
Hey, babe,
elaborate.
is that
I said the first consequence would be Shimu's freeze effect, and the second would be what she would do after.
no.
Not the second one. Oh, you're a retard, nigga. You're a nigga.
Wait. Okay, I'm gonna ask Frieza this, and I'm gonna ask HCM this. At the start of this debate, did he or did he not tell me and you both that Shimu's first consequence is her shooting her beam?
Yeah, Moonless. I can't lie. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
The second consequence was Shimu's frost effect. You answered that for me. I mentioned that. You say, no, that's not what I said. And then I tell you, okay, tell me what you said. You said it was unknown. I addressed that. You're lying. We didn't have the record bot. That's why I added it, because you start lying about it, right?
Oh.
So then I'm gonna explain this to Johnny. I'm gonna explain the rest to Johnny in the quickest way I possibly can. We go on to you like trying to discard it and then saying you said what Frieza said, what I mentioned earlier, that Godzilla would just break out of the ice, right? And then I mentioned the fact that Frieza was the one who said it. You never did, because you attempt to hit me with a straw man for some odd reason, right? I say you never said that. Nobody in DC. We asked. I know. He's ever muted because he's just going to keep on screaming and talking. I'm just explaining this to Johnny so Johnny knows what we're talking about. So I explain how you like never once said that was Frieza's claim, and you're trying to hit me for a straw man for absolutely no reason, because you never made that ever. Like, you never made that point. Frieza did. So then we go on to nigger babble. I say, okay, I'll grant that you actually did say that. So let's discard the little hypothesis where you never attacked my point, like the actual point of it, of me bringing it up, right? You start telling me, Well, no, because it wouldn't be irrelevant because Shimu couldn't reach Godzilla to shatter him. And then I say, okay, what's the relevancy to this like the little hypothesis? If you never attacked the fact that what's it called? Godzilla would be in the same condition as Scar King. You start explaining Frieza's point. So I say, yes, I agree. We should move on to that. So let's discard the hypothesis. And you're like, no, it holds relevancy. I'm telling you, what relevancy does it hold? This is where everybody starts joining VC. So everybody else who did join at this point of the debate could affirm this. I say, okay, so let's discard the hypothesis. You bring up the P2. The P2 was Frieza's point. You keep going on to Frieza's point to latch on to relevancy. No, that's not the relevancy point. That's not the reason why this hypothesis holds relevancy. The reason why what's it called? The P2 is relevant is because you're trying to like make the claim that Godzilla wouldn't be frozen like Scar King. So let's move on to it. You're like, no, no, no. You keep denying it. That's basically the entire debate.
What's up?
Just checking.
That's it, Johnny.
Can I get my mod back, please? Oh, my mod back. That'd be nice.
Yeah, and ACM could give his recollection, and then Moonless can if ACM wants to.
I agree with like 40% of what Chomei said. That's
Wait.
probably what happened.
Quick question. What's the original debate topic about?
Oh, my
Shuna versus Ghidorah.
Hello? Hello? Can y'all hear me?
no, we can't. No, we can't hear you.
Who's taking who?
Okay. What's it called? I'm not gonna lie. I was taking a piss while Chomei was explaining. I'm at HEB right now, but are y'all wait? Is Chomei arguing that like without Mothra being a third party, Shimu would have like frozen Godzilla and then just like broken him into glass, like shattered him?
No, I'm well, kind of. I'm basically saying that what's it called? Shimu's frost effect, like her beam, would have like much more of effect on Godzilla, and then this scene represents it. And that the reason we don't reach the conclusion is because of Mothra. But I'm not specifically saying that the only conditions that Shimu could reach this is in zero gravity. I'm saying that, or if, of the scene, right? The conditions of the exact scene. I'm basically just saying that the frost effect would happen nonetheless, like on land, in zero gravity, and then she would just shatter him like Scar King. Like his condition would be the same as Scar King.
I don't see any problems with that. What was Moonless's contention?
We don't know.
We never moved on to that because he keeps bringing up the hypothesis' relevancy.
You know, words like initiative, initial state. I don't know why the hypothesis is mentioned. Like they're saying, like conditionalized on this thing. Would it be more like I don't know any of the language being used too. I don't know why they're saying all that.
So then,
what was the hypothesis? Is like show me formulating the abduction
if
that
the zero gravity.
Oh my
was
god! Stop talking over me, bro. Okay. Is the hypothesis? Oh, shut the fuck up, HCM. Fuck, goddamn, you annoying ass nigga. Okay. Is the hypothesis or like so-called hypothesis that Chomei was trying to elaborate was the abduction that if Mothra wasn't influencing the whole like freezing Godzilla shit in the down world or whatever, I forgot what the fucking world was called. Then therefore Godzilla would have frozen. I mean, Shimu would have frozen Godzilla to a higher degree than Shimu did Scar King.
No, not a higher degree, just the same. Godzilla would be left in the same condition as Scar King, and then his attack
if Moonless so-called didn't attack that, then why aren't y'all moving away? Wait, who's the judge? Y'all keep on mentioning Frieza's point.
Well, no, we only mention Frieza's point because I'm assuming Moonless took it as a discussion and then stole Frieza's point when Frieza like spewed it out. But like, I don't know. And then I think his quote unquote attack to it was that Godzilla, like he would just like unfreeze and like, I don't know, he wouldn't be in the same critical condition as Scar King. But then I ask, okay, let's discard the hypothesis, and then Frieza refuses. I mean, no, not Frieza. Moonless refuses, and he's like saying how it holds relevancy, and then I ask him how, and then we go on to
what I heard at least, it just seems more so the case in which Moonless didn't provide a contention towards like Chomei's abduction. Seems more so the case like Chomei provided an argument which seems reasonable and provide like justification, which would satisfy the question, oh, what's the relevance behind that, right? So unless
Moonless could give his recollection. So we'll all sit in
I
DC.
need Moonless's context about it. So y'all need to hurry up because I'm at HEB.
Hey, retard.
I call him a retard.
So whenever I mention the Godzilla breaking through the freeze effect, I mentioned the fact that it would be relevant because you mentioned that Godzilla wouldn't undergo the same effect as Scar King. When I mentioned that Godzilla would just break out of the freeze effect would be in relation because the freeze effect would never reach that critical state in which Godzilla does reach Scar King's state. Because we already know that Godzilla's evolved form subscribe to this idea that he heats up his internal body to affect its external body. I already mentioned this as well, right? And I already mentioned that because this is the state that Godzilla would be in, would mean that he wouldn't undergo this effect to Scar King because Scar King doesn't have these properties of heating his internal body for his external body.
Well, like from that
Then you
movement.
went on to the then
What was
you
that,
mentioned
Johnny?
that it's a concession. Wait, Chomei, this is where you stop talking, right?
Yeah, that
That
All
was
was
right,
Chomei
HB, by the
anyways.
talking.
way.
Yeah, that was Chomei.
Oh, H was the big one. Okay.
Right, no, that was
So
that was big shit.
I mentioned that Chomei also mentioned that this would be a concession point because I'm already agreeing to Godzilla undergoing the freeze effect to begin with. Then I mentioned that it doesn't matter or it's not in correlance to what I'm saying because I'm saying that Godzilla will just break out of the freeze effect and then Shomi starts like nigger babbling about like what's it called? He's still undergoing the freeze effect, yada yada yada. So his body would still have this like effect, which I already mentioned that it wouldn't because the only effect that his body would be undergoing the temperature of his body because he's already generating heat and be what's it called? Just increasing his body temperature, which would be the only change or the casual change that his body would intervene with.
Chicago.
Then he also mentioned, huh? Then we also like because pre-hand we all like what's it called? Went over like because I already brought up the point that he would just break out, and then he showed me said something about reversing the effect, and then I said that there would be like this kind of distinction between this breaking out and reversing the what's it called technique because when you're reversing, you're just completely neutralizing the effect, and when you're breaking through, you're still undergoing some kind of change, but you're still breaking through it. There'd be a distinction, and then
Okay.
there would be like I already explained like
Okay,
so
I'll
yeah.
specifically talk about the first point because Chomi is not very intelligent whenever it comes to elaboration. So I think that from what I took from Chomi's explanation, I think he was maybe like, for example, right? Maybe if you're fucking Speedster or some shit, someone's in slow motion and they're trying to punch you, right? I think Chomi is just saying that if Chimu is able to just like constantly move while spraying the beam, it just seems more so the case in which Godzilla, whenever he isn't getting like fucking shot with the fucking beam, just can't move, and it still takes some time, even whenever we visibly see that the beam isn't like constantly shooting at him, that he needs some time to break out, or the heat from his maybe evolved form can get him out, right? So I think maybe Chomi's just specifically saying that if this Shimu is just like constantly shooting this beam without any third party interference, and therefore he would just have the time to just break Godzilla because there isn't I mean like that's what I took from it at least.
Wait, I just want to mention the fact that this guy mentioned multiple arguments he has never mentioned. Like, I don't think anybody in BC could affirm these arguments.
All right.
And like it's just going back to the analogy, I think maybe it's more so the case in which maybe someone has the power to stop you in your tracks, right? Maybe they have to lift up their left arm and then stop you in your tracks. But whenever they stop and put their left arm down, then therefore you can move and everything. Let's just say person B is holding their left arm and stopping you in your tracks and you're still able to move. It just seems more so the case in which you can move and punch them with your right arm or just do something while they're in this vulnerable state. And then with the example and how that applies to the Shimo analogy, I think Chomi specifically saying that maybe Shimo put his left arm down, in which he's not stopping the person A, and that was just due to Moth with the third party. If that helps it put in a better like understanding, or whatever.
I mean, like,
Do you think I should
funny,
buy
funny,
energy
funny.
drinks, bro?
Whenever
I need
you're
to buy some
talking,
Quest chips.
What was that, boy?
I'm buying Quest chips right now. I don't know. They're expensive as hell, though.
Buy Doritos.
I look like a retard right now. I'm just talking to my phone while I'm walking around trying to buy some time before I get yelled at.
You would look like that without a phone.
Shut up, bitch. Moonless,
Uh,
did you
Johnny.
understand that analogy, or do you want me to like put it into letters or like put it in words?
I
Into
think
letters.
technically Yam can vouch, or like Frieza can vouch, but I already said like Shimu would be bound by like the anti-gravity effect, in which they were, or
Yeah,
the condition
you
that they
said
were
that.
in.
The
You said
question
that.
There
was
would
that
be
like
like the
Wait. I'll
the
frame
question
this
was
myself.
why. God,
Let me just like since like he's asking for affirmations or whatever. You said that the only reason why Godzilla wouldn't be shattered like Scar King is because she moves under the zero gravity effect, right? Um, I'm just gonna say you never mentioned the fact that Godzilla could heat himself internally and then externally. That was Frieza's argument, and then Frieza deleted it from the chat. Um, and then I like responded to it. I responded to it in cry emojis, and then you're like, I don't know what you're doing. Like you're actually just like feeding arguments you have never made to me. Nobody in BC could. Wait.
do that in
Nobody in
chat.
BC.
Hold on.
Nobody in BC.
Show me. You're just
Whoa,
You're just
nigger bot,
commenting.
nigger bot,
You
nigger
Show me
follow
the show me
moderator.
where
Follow
nigger bot.
Frieza said that.
moderator.
So, no, literally nobody in VC. I don't think a singular person like Frieza, who even said this, you never mentioned Godzilla could heat himself internally into externally, right? And then you never mentioned or gave conditions to the fact that Godzilla could like break out. You just said that he will break out from Shimu's effect. You never mentioned how. You never mentioned like will he like this was never mentioned. And then that's my like exact like art like that this is the exact point of why we're going to Johnny because you keep bringing up the relevancy of the hypothesis. We never
Well,
moved forward.
okay. You want me to give my verdict or like I mean, wait. First of all, did I? Sorry about the music in my background. I don't know why they specifically had music in this aisle, but was my analogy right? Was that like basically what like Chomei was arguing?
That's basically what I was saying. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Like so, like without the third party, then therefore, like Shimu would get the chance to just like spam the beam to the point in which Godzilla wouldn't have the time to just like heat up and then get out of.
like basically the premise of like that scene, or what I'm trying to like get from it is the fact that Shimu would put Godzilla in the same condition Scar King like would be in. But Johnny, I think you're trying to say like I'm trying to counteract a specific argument he brought up because he's saying that he brought up the fact that he could heat himself internally into externally. That was never mentioned. Frieza mentioned that in chat. I called it out. I replied to it. Frieza deletes it. Frieza could back me up here. Like, there's no way this nigga is actually feeding himself arguments mid conclusion saying he said that. And then we even HCM when you joined, and then you asked like, well, what did Moonless say in like in contention? Me and ACM said nothing because we didn't move on. We didn't get to hear what Moonless had to say because he was so stuck up on the fact that the hypothesis was so reliable.
Okay,
And you
so
heard that from me and
okay,
ACM.
yeah, okay, I understand what you're. Okay, so, I mean, like from what I've heard, basically, it just seems more so the case in which like everyone gave a consensus that Chomei said these things and then Moonless didn't say these things, which I can't vouch for specifically because I didn't watch the debate. I'm just basing this off of what I heard of, and apparently I framed that Chomei's argument decently well, in which like people in the VC can understand because I DM some of them. Uh, from what I heard, at least, I think Chomei won the point, but y'all can talk about that to yourselves. I have 2% and I'm an ATV, so y'all got that.
All right. You could go ahead and unmute him.
Don't call him a retard, dude.
Okay.
Retard.
Notice how we like never show where actually in chat.
What?
You sniped the message.
Yeah.
I said, wait, Frieza, did you verbatimly say the same thing? External and internal body temperature.
Oh my god.
Wait, because you're affirming that he said it in chat, but he didn't say it in chat.
I didn't say
Crazy.
I didn't say he verbatim said what you said. I said that he said. Well, I actually didn't say that. I didn't say what he said, but I said you stemmed your argument from him. Frieza said from verbatim, from what I remember, that God it evolved Godzilla's entire point is to heat up and counter Shimu's ice.